Hello, my honeys. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle. How are you? Welcome back to my channel if you've already subscribed. I appreciate your support of my community and know that I'm always honored to read for you. And if you're brand new to this channel, big welcome, because I love reading for the collective and I want to welcome you into my collective. The Black Dove Oracle is focusing on elevating the collective community through insights that you can use in your personal, professional, spiritual life even. Take what resonates. We are reading for the collective. Now let's get into this pick a card reading. We have a pick a card that is going to be talking about your feminine warrior type. Now, as you know what we say in tarot, we're always dealing with a whole bunch of energies, right? And the cards are energies and representing them, symbols of energy, not necessarily gender. Now, however, there's a great deal of women who follow my channel, and I want to recognize that if you are in the feminine body and you might identify as a woman, then, welcome to your reading. If you are in another identity and you believe that you also hold this feminine energy inside of you, which I believe, then this reading is also for you. Welcome, everyone. Okay, so why don't we go to our groups here? And you can choose your group in a number of different ways. I like to give you all a lot of options, but basically you will go with whatever resonates with you the most. So group number 1, we have the snake here for group number 1. The snake, it says shed old skin. Group number 2, we have the wise one. And the wise one says, grow within your current situation. And group number 3, we have the peacekeeper. Let go of the need to be right, it says underneath there. Now again, you can choose with the artwork at the beginning of this video reading, or you can go to the timestamps, which will be placed below in the description box below, and use some kind of numerology. Or you can just sit with the photo that's going to be right after this, because I was requested to kind of let you all sit with the images a little bit before we move directly into the different groups. So hopefully that's helpful, and I will see you with the first reading of group number 1. Thank you, my honeys. Take care. Hello, group number 1. Welcome to your reading. I'm Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle. Now, I want to thank you for listening to this reading. And we are going to talk about your feminine warrior type. And this is regardless of gender. We all have feminine energy inside of us. But if we're about to take to these streets and war, this is that feminine side that's going to be coming out. That's that feminine side that's coming out. So group number 1, you chose the snake. It says shed old skin. If you chose this group by astrological signs, we have Scorpio, Capricorn, Virgo, and Leo. Now, no, you don't have to be these signs to pick this group. It was more of just to help people do pile selection, but also no, we're going to be flexible here. There might be some of these energies in the group, regardless of your sun, moon, rising sign. You could be dealing with the energies right now of these particular signs, which we have water signs, earth signs, and fire signs. Okay. So, my intention, especially when we think about the warrior type, the snake, there's something about that snake. I remember when I used to work as a contractor with the military. It was a long time ago. And there was a particular unit that I worked with. I did a lot of social services. And their motto was a snake. And it would say, "Don't tread on me." I don't know why I'm remembering that right now, but maybe someone has a connection either to that saying, or maybe even that group in the military. I forgot what unit that was, but don't tread on me. But there also could be just something in that message for you, group number one. You know, the snake gets a bad rap every once in a while. I love snakes, as you could see. They're tattooed on me. But some people fear snakes. They fear the transformative nature of snakes. While some of us are very attracted to the changing nature of snakes and their beauty, others don't like that kind of change, because snakes, they can indicate a kind of transformation, especially when it comes to the physical person, whether it's for good or something that you would think as a challenge. That change is here. So when it comes to your feminine warrior type, I've got to say that old ancient feminine symbols include the snake. If you go and look at a lot of ancient goddesses, I absolutely love Max Dashu's website called, oh goodness, I hope it doesn't fly out of my head. Max Dashu, Dashu, has a website called Suppress Histories. And if you're into the ancient matriarchal kind of goddess lineages, she does so much historical work there. But you will find that snake goddesses are cross-cultural, and snakes were a symbol of the feminine because of the changing nature of the snake. Because the snake was in the Garden of Eden, right? The snake often is interpreted as a sign of evil that came on Adam and Eve, right? But really, other historical accounts say that the snake came in and offered Eve the wisdom of the feminine. And Eve was like, hell yeah. And then Adam was like, I guess. And so, you take it where it resonates in terms of a lot of the lore out there, a lot of the history out there, you all. You've got to know that the feminine warrior has always been around. In fact, I saw on a social media post, and I forgot what article, what news this article was from, but it said that new evidence had been discovered that early Neanderthal women, or early ancient women, were not just gatherers, they were also hunters. And they said that when they looked at the bones of the bodies of the feminines in the group, they had the same markings as the males when it came to hunting, because there's certain muscle groups that you use, right, when you're hunting. And they said the women bodies had the same thing, the feminine bodies had the same thing. So for a long time they had science, in the name of the patriarchy probably, really wanted to categorize the feminine body as just being a gatherer, just putting together nuts and berries, taking care of the children. And not any of those things are bad, right? But no, we were out there at our badassery, hunting, taking down some lions, taking down some tigers. But let me know what y'all think about that, because that puts a whole spin on this whole division between the genders, right? Because we were always supposed to be perceived as a weaker sex. So, again, I want to kind of leave these this reading genderless, but I also want to say it's in celebration of the feminine body. It's in celebration of the womb carrying body, however you want to identify. But it's interesting here, group number 1, that Spirit is bringing forward that in much of your nature as a warrior, you will be misunderstood. You will be miscategorized. And there's something here about you constantly shedding your skin, constantly changing and growing on the conscious and unconscious level that makes it hard for people to put you in the corner or put you in a category or seek to define you. You just can't be. You change that much. You grow and expand that much. I'm getting someone here who's very intellectual, likes to read, likes to do the research, even if that's not even part of the work that you do, career-wise. Someone always finds your nose in a book. They're always like hearing the latest from you in terms of new evidence regarding this and that. So your warrior type is really about knowledge, skills, wisdom. Let's go to your other oracle cards. Planetary wave, soul mission, trust the inner call, soul team. Yeah. And then you have alchemist of pain. And lastly, you have the engineer. It says here, light attributes, ability to give creative energy to practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas, resilience on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. That would be the shadow. Spirit is saying to put it right under the snake. Planetary wave. Your warriorship, group number 1, is part of your life's mission. So you very well could have a job that pays you that has to do with your advocacy or warrior kind of skills. Some of you could be in the military because that came up in a story for me. So you could work for the Army Corps of Engineers. That's very specific, but put it in the comments. You could just be an engineer of some sort. You don't have to be in the military. I'm giving examples where this is a collective reading. But if you are an engineer, you could be a computer engineer. You could be a civil engineer. You could be an engineer of any type here. But there's something about that section of being very logical. There's something to do with your warriorship, also has to do with the mechanics of things, the tools of things. Now, this alchemist of pain, I want to read this to you because it was so interesting, the description here. Sorry for the noise. It says here, under the alchemist of pain, let me show you this card because it is an oracle card describing your warriorship. It says pain is a sacred ally. Suffering is a devourer of the psyche. We cannot control pain. It happens. But we do have some influence over how we suffer. When we hold onto the injustice of pain, it can turn into suffering. So it behooves us to release this pain through the healing power of creativity. When we sing our sorrows, dance our turmoil, or otherwise alchemize our hurt into art, we offer the pain back to the earth, while also blessing it with our offering of beauty. So deep, group number 1. I really get a sense here that this is the kind of alchemy that you're working with as your warrior self, that you are quite honestly, group number 1, I think that a lot of your work came about because of your healing, because of the things that you have gone through. It turned you into this very powerful warrior, someone who has an engineering mind, someone who can put together the strategy, the facts. You know, like those old scenes in war scenes in movies where they're in that tent and they're going over all of the maps and the different kind of look like chess pieces. That's you, group number one. Like, you are the strategy. You are the map maker. You are the person who's putting the strategy together. And you recognize that's your talent because you're able to adapt to movements, to changes. You're able to see ahead. When people say chess, not checkers, they're talking about you, group number one. You can see the scenario 5 timelines ahead. And that's become a real, how do I want to say it? This is a really sought out talent that you have. Some of you are very sought out. I mean, job offers constantly on LinkedIn. I mean, you are well coveted. If you do work for someone, they don't want to let you go. Oh my goodness. Your boss, supervisor, the CEO, they would literally kill over and die if you left. That's for somebody out there. Your work is highly valued. They do a lot to try to keep you there. Okay, so yeah. You also are about justice. The work that you're doing, it's in the realm of change making for the planet. You could be working in the legal field. Some of you could be working around issues of incarceration or policy, so you could be doing that. Many of you just want to bring balance to whatever issue you are working on, that you and if you aren't doing this as work, you are just doing this as part of your personal mission. It still is a lot of your own personal time that you put into this. But you do seek justice. You may do a lot of advocacy work, research work around legal systems or the law. You're the kind of warrior that will look at the options, but you will make decisive action. You consider other opinions, but in the end, you will take action where you feel like it needs to be taken. What else, Spirit? Also, Spirit is saying you're very confident. And they are really emphasizing that. They're like, don't ever lose your confidence. It's important to the work that you do. It's important that people perceive you even as being confident, group number one, especially when it comes to your warriorship. That saying, never let them see you sweat. It's really true for you, group number one. You've got to have people around you be very confident. Maybe you're some kind of leader. I don't know. There's something where Spirit is saying it's better for people to see you fully on board, not in doubt. They don't like when you have doubts. I don't know what that's about, but that's what I'm hearing. People get nervous when you doubt. Knight of Wands. Yeah, I kind of get you act quickly. You can act quickly on things. You might be a fire sign. You might be an Aries. There's the little Aries energy there. You will act quickly if you see how this is right under justice or right next to justice. You will act quickly in the name of justice. Some of y'all are hitting the streets right now when it comes to these global wars. So you will act quickly in service of justice. Yeah, you are an Empress. I mean, many of you, you've had many years behind you in doing this work of your warriorship. You've learned a lot of deep lessons. You've had to quite literally, you see how this Empress is holding a crescent moon? You've had to educate yourself about your feminine power. It wasn't something that just landed in your lap. You had to do the research, you had to learn the wisdoms, and it's here now. It's all here for you, and it's the result of the work that you've done throughout your life to know, to ground, to be of service. Yeah, you have Seven of Wands here. I really think that you have the Seven of Swords in reverse. Yeah, what a lot of people are going to understand about you, group number one, when it comes to your warriorship, is that you are never going to give up. You're never going to stop trying. You're never going to stop advocating for what is right. You are on a mission and you're unstoppable in that sense. You will always find a different way. If things become delayed, if things are not going right, you will find a different way. Yeah. And you're learning now. This card cannot reverse, and I'm kind of just putting there Ten of Wands. I think you're learning now how to get the assistance and help and support you need, because maybe in the past you tried to carry this all on your own. You tried to do everything on your own, and you're starting to realize in this warriorship, a new lesson for you is to get support, to start to collaborate. It's not a one-person show here, the warriorship. It's about community and collaboration and working together. So I think that is your focus now, if you ask me, group number one, in terms of your warriorship. Do we need, let me check the time here, one more card. Spirit is saying to pick a card from this deck. Excuse me. One moment. Okay, last messages, Spirit. What do you want to say? Ooh. I don't know how I got that. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. Last few messages for group number one. What kind of warrior? Feminine warrior are they? They're feminine warrior energy. Yeah. I think here Spirit is always going to say that you are at your most powerful when you go within. You are at your most powerful when you seek that from which it is not without. I don't know why I was hearing it that way, but Spirit is saying your warrior energy is very much fueled by your ability to spend time on your own, reflect and go inward and know yourself. They're saying that's when you become the strongest. It's not for you, it's not necessarily always about being in action. It's more about the wisdom that you collect, the tools and resources you collect, that when it's time for you to take action, it's all there, ready, at your disposal. So group number one, I'm really loving the kind of warrior who you are. It's badassery. Yeah. Thank you so much for your service, your work. And I really have enjoyed reading for you. It's an honor. And if you resonate with this reading, could you please give me a thumbs up? It really does help me grow the channel. And if you like the way that I read and you want to stay connected, please subscribe to the channel and then click the bell actually, and then you will get notified when I upload new readings, which is once a week at the minimum. Okay, my honeys, take care. Lovely reading for you. Hello, group number 2. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle, and this is your pick a card reading on your feminine warrior type. Now, this reading is meant to cross over gender identities and mainly tap into what is that feminine energy. If we all have feminine and masculine energy in us, and I don't even know if those are always the best words for this energy, but if it's inside of us, what is it that gives us that special warrior? What's our special warrior type when it comes to this kind of energy? Because the feminine energy, in terms of warriorship, has been around for a while, for eons. We see all kinds of small figurines that tell us that the feminine has always been honored cross-culturally. And, I had mentioned in group number 1, and I might put it in my description box below, but I absolutely love the website Suppressed Histories by Max Dashu, because she is this historian, just badass feminine historian that has come up with all of the feminine lore, warriorship, everything. So, she does a lot of webinars too. So, for a very reasonable price, if you wanted to learn about the divine feminine, definitely a place I recommend to go. So, group number 2, you chose the wise one. And let's just quickly go over the zodiac signs that were picked out for this group, and it's really just to help you do the pile selection, but some of those energies might exist in this reading: Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, and Aries. Okay, so we have air signs and we have fire signs. Is that right? Yeah, all the air signs and a fire sign. Okay, so the wise one, group number 2, is already starting to describe what kind of warrior you are. You are one that has used their wisdom, has learned from life lessons, group number 2. And there's something even mystical about you now, because you're using that information to change your current situation. In fact, you may be guided, as in your warriorship, to start to look at how you can continue to evolve. Maybe you're finding yourself in just coming into a later part of your life, and you feel like, I'm done with parenting in an active way. You're not ever done being a parent. But maybe your kids are grown up. Maybe you're an empty nester. Maybe you're retiring. It could be, in this pile, slightly older people who have now embarked on a new cycle, a new life cycle. And in this new life cycle is your warriorship. Interesting. Let's do your other oracle cards here. You have Let It Rain, Allowing What Is, Inevitability, Trust. You have the Oracle. Very interesting. And then you have the Queen. I like that. Radiates the regal feminine. Uses her benevolent authority to protect others. The shadow aspect becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling, and demanding. Spirit is saying to do this. I do get in this group that everyone's a little bit older. To me, if you're in your 30s, I think you're still young, but you could be on the later end of your 30s. But, mid-30s onward, I would say it's probably the energy I'm getting for this warrior group. You are also my mystics. You might be a tarot reader. You might be a psychic, a medium. This might have all been even skills that you honed a little bit later in life. I'm not saying that you are just psychic or just a medium now, but I'm saying you may have not really used those tools until later in life. I'm seeing the oracle here. It just means that you trust yourself. You trust your intuition. You make decisions from your gut. And in doing that, group number 2, there's a certain kind of way that you work with the mysteries that could very well intimidate other people, because there's a certain kind of assuredness that you have. And it comes with that queen energy. Knowing how to utilize the feminine in your life to thrive. And that's a skill that you've done in others' eyes effortlessly. You know what I mean? Like, people are like, how does group number 2 do this? There's a way that you accept what is, but it doesn't mean you will sit back. You know what I mean? You're not going to sit back and watch. You will accept factual things for what they are, but you also trust yourself, because there's trust in here too. You also trust yourself to look at what is and see where you can make strategic change. I think that queen energy, it really does speak to your leadership style. You will protect those who work for you, those who are in your family, those you're in charge of, because you understand it feels like that's a responsibility that you are very connected to. You're a person who keeps their word, and people love that about you. There's nothing that comes out of your mouth that you're not going to back up. What else, Spirit? King of Disc. Eight of Disc. Spirit just said, take that up, right? Queen of Wands. One more card. The Magician. Great cards. You're a huge manifester. Group number 2. That Queen of Wands, you have double queens here. It's and a king. So I get this sense that you are in spiritual rank, you are a queen and king. I wouldn't be surprised if the Empress emerges, because you this has come after a lifetime of learning, of learning from even your mistakes, sometimes learning from just life circumstances. When you're in that Queen, King of Pentacles, because you have King of Pentacles here, well, they call it King of Disc here. Sitting on top of a turtle, a tortoise. Holding some herbs. I get the sense here, group number 2, that even some of you over the years, your warriorship has included healing. And especially if it's in the form of indigenous healing or shamanic healing. So that's also the kind of warriorship that you have. It's going into health and healing, maybe even rituals and ceremonies, depending on some of you. That 8 of Pentacles, what has happened here is that I think there's been, for some of you, a career shift. And in that career shift, you are utilizing some of that knowledge and wisdom that you had in your past career to start a new career. So you may have recently like left a particular kind of career situation, work situation. And in doing so, you have manifested with this Magician card and the Queen of Wands, you have manifested something quite rapidly. Maybe even to the surprise of other people. You know, like maybe you quit your job as an accountant and the next thing you know, people are like, wow, group number 2 is doing yoga retreats in Costa Rica. You know, like, I mean, it's something like that where people are like, you know, I've always known they're a little witchy, or I've always known they're a little, you know, into natural organic stuff. I never knew that they were just going to take their life and just shift on to something new, something different, something much more powerful and in alignment with who you are. But this is the kind of warrior you are. I mean, this is the kind of work you do. And people love you for it. They love learning from you. They love your mind, the way that you have put together. Like, look at that. You are the teacher. It's like they love listening to your stories. There's something about your wisdom and your logic. It's rooted in factual things, but there's some way in which you teach that gets into the underlying mysticism of life even. Love it. For real. And you know, warriorship for you, it's always been about living your life authentically, group number 2, because you feel like there's so many opportunities to not be in your full authenticity. There's so many opportunities to just sit back and let the wheels of this world turn without interfering. And you're not that person. You want to see the world change. You want to see change happen. But I think you're quickly realizing that you have accumulated so much wisdom over time that it's time for you to share it. You're no longer the student, you are the teacher. You're no longer the student, you're the master. You know, like there's something about the age group you're in where you're kind of like, oh, I guess I don't need to be coordinating this anymore. I need to take the lead, and you're going to keep finding the universe is putting you in those situations where they want you to take the lead. They want you to speak up. They want you to do the things that elders would even do. Now, you may not be quite at the elder age, but you are entering into that realm where your wisdom is represented by this owl on your shoulder, and your insights represented by the crow in front of you. Like they're gems, and everybody wants access to you in that way. Let's see. What else you got to say, Spirit? Yeah. There may have been some rough periods in your life, group number 2, where you had, like, again, because I'm getting a sense of someone who learns from their lessons. So I'm also seeing here that a large part of your power is to be able to reap those lessons from difficulties that you may have had in life. You may have had to come up through being on the outside of things. It's not always easy to be someone who is spiritually powerful. And I think you know this. People get intimidated quite quickly when they understand that you have insight. When they understand that you will use the lessons of your life to achieve the things that you need to achieve, to even manifest the things that you desire. People get intimidated by that. And sometimes you may have been on the outside. You may have had to struggle to stay in the kind of work that you really wanted to do. Maybe it didn't always bring in the money. Maybe it didn't always bring in the stability. But you are quite powerful. And I think it was a little bit of a struggle that it just might have been a karmic thing. You know what I mean? Like, you had to work through it. You had to understand how to navigate this world with the special powers that you had. So you may have had a lot of different kinds of jobs because they were just paying the bills. But I get a sense that you are finally in a place where you can live off of your teachings. Yeah, and that may have to do with a partnership of yours. Whether this is romantic or just a platonic partner, I think when that person came into your life, you were able, because look, you may have had a child already when you met this partner. And there may have been a little bit of struggle in your life. But, some of you, if this hasn't happened yet, you will meet someone, and that is also going to put you in a 10 of cups situation where you're able to work with a partner and really build with that person and stabilize your life. So that's for some of you. It's not for all of you. Some of you already have a stable life. If you don't, there will be someone that you meet, and I'm not getting, like all these readings will say, oh, you're going to meet this really rich person. And I'm all like, no, it's more like you're going to meet this person and you both can put your talents and skills together to build stability in your life, to build even wealth in your life and prosperity. You could do that with a 10 of cups kind of energy. Yeah. Because that's a beautiful relationship. That's a relationship that's closing out a cycle for you and beginning a new one. Some of you may even have a child with this person, but this child could also be already there when you meet this person. So take it where it resonates. If there is no children, it's more speaking to how you both connect with the inner child. You know what I mean? Like, both of you really love and nurture each other's inner child. So, just take that as it resonates as well. Okay, my honeys, let's get, Spirit said there's one more card here. Okay, we didn't have that in the last pile, but we have it in this one. Spirit has one more thing to say. What else you got to say, Spirit? We love you. Yeah, Ace of Coins. There is going to be a new material beginning for you. If you have been worried about your finances or your economic stability, you will be beginning a new life where that is going to be worries of the past. Quite literally, like I said, I see many of you making money and stabilizing yourself from your own wisdom. But I also see for some of you, you will enter into a partnership that is going to make it much easier to stabilize yourself, because you and this partner, you work so well together. By the way, you and that partner, you might be opposites from the outside. People are going to be like, how did this relationship happen? But you are very much connected on the inside. You are very much of the same cloth, even if that cloth has different colors and tapestries and things like that. You both are the same person on the inside, but people might trip a little bit. They're gonna be like, I didn't expect all this, but it might be, you're gonna find this person, and I keep saying this, and I said it in a couple other groups, I don't know, different readings, but you're gonna find your unicorn. You're a unicorn that found your unicorn. So anyway, my lovely, lovely group number 2. If you resonated with any of this reading, can you please give me a thumbs up? If you like the way that I read and you want to stay connected, because I want to stay connected, please consider subscribing to my channel and clicking that bell, because you will get notified when I upload new readings, which is about at minimum once a week. Otherwise, if this is where we're parting, I'm so honored to have read for you. I appreciate your warriorship. It is what we need on this planet, group number 2. Thanks so much. Take care. Hello, group number 3. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle. Welcome to your pick a card reading on your feminine warrior type. A very interesting reading, and I've got to tell you that this is meant to cross over the gender lines and more tap into an energy that we have all identified or labeled as the feminine energy. So that feminine energy exists in all of us, and we can cultivate it in as much as we want to or as little as we want to. But group number 3, you may have chosen this group with these zodiac signs. They're not necessarily the zodiac energies of this group. They could be, but they were there as a tool for you to pick this group. And it's Pisces, Cancer, Sagittarius, and Taurus. So know that some of those energies might even be here or come up. But you may have also chosen with this Peacekeeper card. And group number 3, it says let go of the need to be right. I hear from Spirit immediately, group number 3, that you are a quiet warrior. You're the kind of warrior that many people will mistakenly underestimate. Not overestimate, underestimate. That's what I'm hearing. You're very quiet. You're to yourself. You know what kind of energy it's giving me? I don't know if you remember in The Matrix. Was it the first one? The second one? I can't remember which Matrix it was. Remember when Neo goes in to meet the Oracle, he first has to meet her protector, right? And he's like a martial artist, and he goes in and he meets this guy and says, I'm here to meet the Oracle. And the guy says, well, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I need to figure out if you're who you are, who you say you are. And so he starts fighting him. So anyway, there was something very peaceful warrior about that character. He's sitting there, he's talking in a calm, quiet voice. He's like, yeah, I'm going to have to fight you. And I feel like that's you, group number 3. You play with people sometimes and I hate to say it like that, don't get offended, but you play with people sometimes. You're unassuming, and that it just takes that one narcissistic kind of personality type to run across you and realize, oh, I've messed with the wrong one. And I think for some of you, this is cultural even. Like you might even come from an indigenous culture that is known for being quiet warriors, just people of few words, people who actions speak louder than words. And hopefully that's not a stereotype of your culture, but there's things in there that ring true. Like you're not gonna find you flapping off at the mouth or being really conceited about your talents and skills, but you've got skills. You could take out some folks if you wanted to, group number 3. But you never would, because I think what others don't also see is your spiritual underlining. That Peacekeeper, it's important to you. You strike me as the person that if you've had to fight, you already consider it a failure. Because you uphold peace. You see how this figure is holding the peace pipe? It's part of your work. It's part of your service. When you come in, and I get that for some of you, this might be specific, but some of you in your work, you do stakeholder work. You do a lot of negotiations. You may bring parties together that are not agreeing, and you may facilitate different parties talking to each other and being in communication. So you are a great communicator, by the way. Do you have any air signs here? We don't have any here. We have earth. Oh wait, I think we have earth, fire, and water. But you have some kind of air prominent in your chart. And again, these aren't the only signs for the reading, so don't even worry about these if they're not connecting with you. But there is a method, group number 3. And you're recognized and respected for that method. Sweet waters, it says sensuality, romance, enjoyment, fertility, balance. Spirit is saying that many people, when they look at you, they see... Y'all, I just gotta tell you, Spirit don't be hiding nothing from me. Spirit doesn't. Spirit has such a sense of humor. I mean, I think if you work with the spirit realm, you understand their sense of humor. Because I'm laughing all the time, just at the things that they want me to notice and communicate. Anyway, back on track. Spirit is saying here that a lot of people are attracted to you, group number 3. And in that attraction, because they look at you and they're like, oh, who's that? You know what I mean? You get a lot of that energy. Like, who's that? What's going on with group number 3? But then when they get to know you, they're like, oh, that's what's going on with group number 3. Because I think you are serious. They're like, oh, let me see if I can holla at group number 3. And you're like, no, sir. No, ma'am. You're like, I'm here for the business I'm here about. You know what I mean? So there could be, I mean, I hear some of you are a little irritated by it sometimes, that people don't take you seriously. You see it as somebody not taking you seriously. Other people see it as them being attracted to you. Take it where it resonates. Detective. And then you have Trailblazer. It's true. You are so successful at what you do, group number 3. Your warriorship is also for you, your skill, your work, your service that you're here to do, peacekeeping. And it can expand. Like for some of you, you're doing stakeholder negotiations, things like that. But for others of you, you may actually become an ambassador at some point in your life, or you may decide to go into, what is that? I forgot what that's called. It's like a governmental ambassador something. I'm forgetting the term. But you may end up working in negotiations that have to do with governments, NGOs. You may end up expanding your work globally, I'm hearing, group number 3. So, take it where it resonates, but there's something about you being in detective energy. It says, great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth. The shadow attribute is voyeurism, falsifying information. Spirit is saying most definitely the light attribute is pointing to how, even if you're in very formal settings, the way that you utilize your intuition, the way that you connect people with the truth is highly spiritual, highly coming from source of some sort. And It's just put you in an energy here of being an innovator, of being some kind of like futurist, even though you're rooted in something that's very like older, maybe older community, ancient wisdom, feminine wisdom of your community. It's been transformed and mutated even to meet the needs of a more modern day. That's what you've done with this. So, you are helping people to connect with their divine feminine inner energy through this warriorship of peace. And the methods that you use are gaining so much visibility for yourself, group number 3. If it isn't now, it will be. Like, people are going to be like, I want to work with group number 3 because their work is just so transformative. It changes things. So you're gaining that reputation, group number 3. Okay, let's go to the tarot cards. So that warriorship of yours, Spirit keeps pointing to that card. Like, yeah, people be thinking they trying to make group number 3 their new partner, and group number 3's like, break out the agenda. Okay. Ace of Disc. Yeah, that Ace of Pentacles is really telling you this life path of yours, it's prosperous. It's paying the bills. King of Disc. Because look at this King of Pentacles. Looking all shamanistic, right? That's you, group number 3. You making money off of this talent and skills. And it's not only for the money, but you're going to get so many opportunities. I'm hearing workshops, retreats, panels, conferences. Whatever you're doing, you will be busy and you will be making that coin. Yeah. Spirit is saying right now that even though this 10 of Cups is in reverse, it doesn't mean that the energy is not there. It's just that it's seeing for you in your warriorship, you're going to need. This is where Spirit's like, I'm about to contradict myself. Not so much. Spirit is saying you are in need. Spirit is saying need is a strong word. You would be benefited by finding a partner. This could be romantic. It could be platonic. You could benefit from that in some way. And Spirit is saying here that it's going to take a little bit of work to find that match for you. Some of you may actually be in same sex and sexual identity situations, like LGBTQIA. So you could be in that community and you're looking for an energetic match of some sort. It doesn't have to be everyone, but Spirit is saying some kind of energetic match in the form of a partnership, whether it's romantic or not, will be of benefit to you and your work. Yeah, because I think what's going to happen is your work is going to ramp up, group number 3. I'm seeing this. Not necessarily always about your popularity. It's just the work is ramping up. And you are going to need a trusted individual who also sees through a lens of justice. Someone who's balanced. Someone who's going to help you keep the balance in your life. But also someone who understands your warriorship. Like we can't be in relationships where our warriorship has to be put to the side. And that will not be the case for you. But Spirit is saying here, you're going to have to look for this. There's going to be a little bit of search for this person, because they're special for you. Spirit is saying that. They said, oh, they've been made special for you. You've just got to connect with them. So that person is coming. Yeah, you have 9 of Wands here. I think you may have experienced some disappointments in relationships. People who didn't understand how your work connected to your life. They always wanted you to sacrifice your work for the relationship, and you weren't going to do that, group number 3. So I think when you meet this person, it's finally someone who understands your work, who understands what you need to do, but also understands when they can help you kind of achieve more work-life balance. It's going to be that person, but they're not going to mind when your work takes time, as long as there's kind of balance in there. Yeah, this could be someone you're going to marry, actually. I think when you find this person, you're going to be like, oh, finally somebody who supports my warriorship. Let my life change. Death. I think this is what's going to happen. I don't know how this turned into a romance reading, but it did for you, group number 3. Your warriorship, there's going to be different cycles of it. When you meet this new partner, and again, it could be platonic, it doesn't have to be romantic, but when you meet this person, it's almost like it becomes a long-term relationship of some sort, and in doing that, it allows you to, again, shift and change. And what happens here is it's going to change you for the better. It's going to open you up in a very powerful way, because I think there were some things that you could do on your own, but when you are a power of 2, it changes the whole environment. It really is going to lessen how much time you spend on your own, trying to do everything alone, trying to figure out everything on your own. You're going to have a second pair of eyes. You're going to have a second pair of even ears. Like, did you hear? What did you hear? There's that. But there's also something else this person is going to be bringing in that Spirit is saying you will have to discover. Because if you look at this card closely, group number 3, there's your partner again. Heads are aligned. That means you all sync very well on how you think about things. But there is something in this relationship that Spirit is saying will not be revealed in this reading, but will come into fruition because you both are together. Separately, you both don't have this information, but together you both will. So maybe this is a new idea that both of you will cultivate together, or something that you will discover about yourself that you couldn't have discovered otherwise without being with this person. Okay, group number 3. How exciting. A functional relationship is going to give you what you need for your next cycle in this warriorship. If you've resonated with any part of this reading, group number 3, could you please give me a thumbs up? It helps me grow the channel, for real. It's hard out here to grow a new channel sometimes, but I appreciate your support. If you like the way that I read and you want to stay connected, I would love that too. Please subscribe and then click that bell, because it allows for you to get notifications when I upload a new reading. If this is where we are parting, I appreciate reading for you. I feel very honored to read for you, and I appreciate your comments and likes, and I hope that we connect soon on another reading. Take care, my honeys.